you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. It's 2:30 here in the UK right now, so it's a lot later
Oh wow, it's
than there,
late. You stayed
But
up. You stayed up for little old me. That's
yeah,
dope.
that's it. I didn't want to like miss this opportunity, and yeah, I just really like what you're doing. On Wednesdays are so cool. I usually watch the replays you have on Facebook because it's like usually too late, but like when the opportunity came to come on this, it's like yeah, I'll stay up, and yeah, I hope
That's
we'll have like a
amazing.
really dope discussion.
That's amazing. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being on here. And thank you for staying up super, super late. You're a much better person than I am. But I appreciate you. So I actually have a lot of questions for you because I do my research before bringing people on because I think that's important to do. And so first of all, I've never been to the UK. So I know there's a lot of people on here that have not been either. So my first question is like, what is the UK like? What is the hip hop scene like there? Like, I want to know all of those details.
Yeah, that's some really good questions actually. So my end of the UK is the southwest. So I'm from like a little town called Trowbridge, which is in a county called Wiltshire, which is probably the nearest city to us is Bristol. So you might have heard of Bristol, but I think yeah, I think a lot of the time, probably when people think of the UK, they tend to either think of probably like London or like Liverpool, where the Beatles are from, or Manchester, But yeah, but that's so basically down south in the UK. Yeah, the UK hip hop scene, so amazing. We've had like legends. So like if you like do the history of the UK hip hop scene, you can go back to the London posse, which is like Rodney P, and yeah, and then there's people like Black Twang and Skinny Man, and all these UK legends, Caveman, who were like the first UK hip hop group signed to an American label. They won Profile Records with the likes of Run DMC, who I know you just done the snowboarding collab. Was it? I noticed you were doing like Run DMC snowboarding.
Yeah,
Like so great.
yeah.
Yeah, Caveman back in like they were, and as well, and yeah, and then like like Kalashnikov. I'm trying to think who else. Violet Cypher, Roots Maneuver, and just all these legendary UK hip hop artists, and the probably like the 2010s where you've got like High Focus Records with the 4 Hours and Split Profits. So yeah, the UK hip hop scene's amazing, and yeah, I think it's amazing how a movement such as hip hop, it starts in New York in the 70s, and then how it just is it went worldwide with it, and it just brings all these people around the world together. And I'd say similar
For
to
sure.
like skateboard and what I'm into, and snowboard and what you're into, like those interests and arts and passions we're into, just bring people from all walks of life together, which is so dope.
It's amazing. Well, that's the one thing. So, I mean, because I want to talk about the skateboarding thing as well. So, you know, I went through your page, and then, like, the first thing that I thought when I went through everything, because obviously I like checked out your music, went through your page, and I was like, he loves hip hop. And like
Oh,
I
cool.
can tell that you genuinely love the
Yeah.
culture and that you are a true hip hop enthusiast. And I really appreciate that and I admire that because I feel like that's such a rare thing now. I think we all consume rap and hip hop, but we don't necessarily always talk about the culture as much. And when I went on your page, I'm like, I'm like, John knows, like, he knows his thing. So, I also always think it's interesting too because, and, you can probably phrase it better than I can, but I've always heard people say kind of like the UK is behind the US in a sense where it's like you guys still are consuming like real hip hop on such a huge like mainstream level, if that made sense. Like the culture seems to be a little bit more underground there, and I haven't had like the pleasure of visiting yet. So if you know the UK promoters, plug me in, baby. But
Or, I tell a friend to tell a friend who will tell a friend, and then hopefully get you over it.
yeah. But I like, so what do you think about that? Because I feel like people always say how like you guys just are consuming the culture differently in comparison to how we're listening to hip hop over here. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's something like I never realised, but I guess over these last couple of years, I have noticed that being a conversation I keep hearing. So, for example, um, like Black Poet, who's a legendary MC from New York,
Mm-hmm.
he was saying how he feels that like Europe and the UK, I guess, gravitate more to, I guess, like what was happening in, like, say, the 90s or the early 2000s, and that's why probably like a lot of I guess kind of like people we consider legends now in hip hop from the US probably do a lot of tours around Europe, and we have a lot of people coming for gigs in the UK, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because there's that I guess that audience that wants to see him. But it surprises me because like I would have thought like it was the same probably in the US, but maybe because these artists are on the doorstep and they're more accessible, maybe maybe that's why it feels like that. Whereas to us, I guess if it's people coming to travel to and we get the opportunity to see them, then it
Mm-hmm.
seems like a big deal, like if someone
Yeah.
traveling overseas to us.
Yeah, no, but
So
that's a good
I think
point.
that
Yeah, that's a good point because I
is
feel like you're right, and especially being from like New York, and then you just have all of your major hubs like Atlanta, California. I feel like it's true. You get so
yeah,
used to seeing like the big people in like a regular way. And then I also think too, I mean, now like everything is just kind of
yeah,
changing in the world, but it's like, yeah, it's almost like they're like neighbors. It's like they're famous, but you're like, oh yeah, well, so and so lives like right next door versus like going. So have you ever been to New York?
I have actually. I went to New York in 2010.
Oh,
Like
nice.
me and my brother, me and my twin brother and my mate. We sort of like went traveling. We went to Boston, and then we went to New York, and we did like a 3 week thing. And I remember like we were doing things like skateboarding around New York, and we went to like the Brooklyn Banks. Like my brother did a frontside 50-50 down like the 10 stair handrail, which like you always see in the videos and stuff. And so we're like super hyped, like we're getting to skate these things we'd see in the videos. But I remember that was on like it was on St. Patrick's Day, and I remember it was either we went to go and skate Brooklyn Banks, or we went to see one of the like rivers in New York get turned green for St. Patrick's Day. And it was like, although that would be cool, we're like, now I want to go skating, so we did that. But
That's
we
amazing.
went to the Nokia Theatre. We went to the Nokia Theatre, and I remember that we went to like a hip hop gig actually, which was like really dope. It was Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest DJing, and to his right it was Jazzy Jeff DJ. They had like DJ Scratch come out and mad skills on the mic, and yeah, it was just like super dope. And they had like the music videos playing behind them, and like when they did the scratches, the music videos would shake.
I
It was
love
just like
that.
a cool visual, and yeah, just good memories and good times, in New York, definitely.
I love that. I love that, and I love how genuine like your smile is when you talk about your story. That's really really dope. So, all right, well, I have a lot of questions for you. So, since now that you mentioned like the skateboarding element, so that's really dope. So, how do you, because right, skateboarding and hip hop like go hand in hand. And there's a lot of artists that skateboard as well. So, like, how do you fuse like your skateboarding with your music? Like, do you feel like you have a lot of friends that are all like just skateboarders? Like, I want to hear like more about that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, like you might not know, or you might not be able to tell, but I'm I'm 33 and I'm actually 34 um, in December. So I've been skateboarding since I was 11. So I
Oh
started
wow.
skating in the year 2000. I started listening to hip hop, or I discovered hip hop in 1999, and I think like where I was listening to hip hop first of all, and my introduction to hip hop was the song "Still Dre," so Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and then like going down this rabbit hole of like Wu-Tang Clan, Nas, whatever else, Jay-Z, Eminem, and I think like with all that as well at the same time, you start seeing things like the X Games on TV and all this like cool skateboarding, and if you got MTE on, it was like skateboarding and music videos or Jackass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like just things like that, being like an 11-year-old, it's just like, oh, that's cool, and you're super hyper and all that. Anyway, so like and that, and then it was I guess like before MP3 players, when we still had like CD Walkmans or tape cassette players. So it's just kind of like you'd have one of those, you'd be learning how to skate, and the music would be the soundtrack while you're trying to learn to skate. So it's kind of like both have always been present, and it's amazing how, because I think when you're young, it can kind of be a bit like make or break. It's like either stick with you for life, or it's going to be something you try for a bit and then go away from it. But yeah, it's just something which like stuck with me, and just I've been into those things like longer than I've been alive, if you know what, in a way.
Yeah, no,
And so like yeah, just I've been doing that longer than I haven't been doing that, if that makes sense. So yeah.
for sure. No, you're like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so dope because you're like a true hip
I
hop
think yeah,
enthusiast. Like
connections were
you love hip
yeah.
hop. You love the snowboarding. See, that's me. Sorry, I'm getting getting the board sports confused. You love like the skateboarding culture, which is really dope. I actually need to learn how to start
Hey yo,
skateboarding.
can you still hear me?
Can oh wait, you're I can't tell. Maybe we can ask
Good, good.
everybody if you're breaking up or I'm breaking up.
I think
Who's
I lost you for a second.
hold
Might have
on.
the frozen.
Let's see. I'm not sure if it's me or you. Let's give it a second. Wait, hold on, John. So I don't want to lose you because people need to hear what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Did you say? Did you say?
You're Let's try and have you call back in.
Did you say you need to learn how to skateboard, is that? Or?
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I can hear you. I just don't want people... Oh, no. What happened? No! All right, we need John back on here. This is amazing. So, all right. John, I don't know where you are, but when you are available to hop back into the queue, please do so, because I know we are all enjoying listening to you right now. You're so dope. So hopefully we'll get him back in here. Let's see if I can invite him into the live. So yeah, so can you guys hear me okay? I'm just trying to figure out who's the one breaking up. So I'm not sure if it's my Wi-Fi or his. I just want to see. It's on his end. So we'll wait to hear back from John. But in the meantime, you guys, if you have any questions for him regarding like the UK hip hop scene, definitely ask them, because there is no doubt that this man loves and breathes and does everything hip hop. That is so, so dope. What's poppin'? Hey, hey. Yeah, we'll have to get him back on here. But I think it's really interesting how he was saying about like just the skateboarding scene and like the hip hop scene, because they have been, hey, hey, they have been intertwined since the very beginning. And I think it's really dope to hear like his side of the story, because we're on the other side. Oh, here he is, the man of the hour. I hope that he is in a better place. Let's see. Let me try and get him on here. Let's see. Welcome to Rights Wednesdays, y'all. If you want to be on Rights Wednesdays. All right, John, everybody's so intrigued by you, and we're very upset we can't hear you. So you need to stay in one spot.
Yeah, I've just changed the spot. Hopefully, this is going to be the difference maker, That reminds me, though, because I know, like, you're super into snowboarding. So, like, I guess, like, years ago, there used to be a skateboarding video series called 411 Video Magazine for skateboarding.
Oh, that's cool.
Had 411 snowboarding. Did you ever watch any of those? Or?
You just broke up on the last part. What did you say? I heard the last part I heard was that there was a 411 skateboarding magazine. You said, right?
Hello?
Listen, well, there's one thing that I know that we have better than you do is internet connection. Well, listen, it's his end. So I have a few questions for John, so hopefully we can get him back on here. You guys said he's choppy. You guys are funny. All right. I think he's in a... Just so you guys, so the good thing is, John, is that everybody is actually intrigued enough that we're all trying to figure out where you are and how. So, but don't move, because now I can hear you. So don't make any sudden movements.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what were you saying about the snowboarding?
Yeah, so they, like, I guess, like, in the 90s and 2000s, there was a skateboard video series called 411 Video Magazine Skateboarding, but they also started making snowboarding videos. So did you ever see any of the 411 snowboarding videos?
No.
Okay, I've got to send you some of them.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they got, like, good soundtracks, like, not just hip-hop, it's like all types of music, but I remember there was like a particular snowboarding part where it had like I can't remember the rider, but it had a Cool G Rap song, Big L song featuring Cool G Rap, Fallback, and like it just went so well with the snowboarding. So I'll
That's
make sure I
dope.
send you that part because you'll dig it, I reckon.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, okay, so I now that I have you back, when we have you back, so make sure you guys ask questions if you guys have questions in the comments. So, all right, so you've been, doing obviously the music thing for a minute, like the skateboarding for a minute. So, where are you, what are you working on right now? Are you getting ready to release a project? Do you like have something that you're planning on dropping? Like, we want to know.
Yeah, I don't know when the next thing will be, but I do have some things planned. I've got some beats from some dope UK producers. Michael Parkinson being one, who's a legend in the UK hip hop scene.
Let's go.
Farmer G from Task Force, another
Mm-hmm.
legend in the UK hip hop scene. MCM from Caveman, again UK hip hop. I've got like a few of like my mates who like produce as well. So there's Mac Lloyd, MDB, Afroloon, and yeah, I think eventually I'd like to put out some more music. But at the moment, I've kind of just been enjoying the first project I put out, and it's sort of it's beat my expectations really, because I think when you put yourself out in the world like that, and you're not sure if people are going to understand it, or and that sort of thing, it can be quite a daunting thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it when I finally did put out my album, so the alias I go by is my MC name is the Nicewun JM, and I released an album last year called Celebrating Hip Hop Over Here,
Mm.
and yeah, it's just to be honest, it beat my expectations. It was something I put a lot of kind of like heart and soul and passion into, and yeah, it's had like a real nice response. To be honest, I've just been enjoying that,
That's
and
dope. I
like
like that
yeah,
answer.
taking my time, so which is good.
I like that.
But
I think as
yeah,
creatives, I know me myself, I'm always rushing, to put out the next project. Mostly because I know people are always asking me like what the next project is. So I'm like, all right, I gotta keep dropping. I gotta keep dropping. But I
yeah,
think, it's dope. I like the fact that you're saying that you're just enjoying, right? Like the project that you already put out. Because I think,
yeah,
people don't always realize how much time you put into that one project, and you're like, you guys want more music? Like I just gave you everything in my life, and that wasn't enough.
that's it. But you know what? The way you do it though, like that's really dope. And you know what? I've been checking out your music, and like there's so many bangers I've like been really enjoying. What is it? What is it? All the OGs say keep it a buck. All of the youngsters bitch on the ship. Like
Yeah.
the one in battle, like that one was like so dope. And yeah, I think it's the Gravity one I was checking out. That was ill. Like and just like your your flow and your rhyme schemes. It's just like really really dope. So I'm really feeling like all the music you've been doing, and it's like yeah, you definitely want a fan over here. So.
Well, thank you so much. That means a lot. I appreciate that. I have, me myself, I've been trying to, keep dropping consistently and also dropping different kinds of music. I always get asked, like, if I'm going to release a project or an album, and it's definitely, I mean, ironically enough, I have enough music for like several albums. So, there's no shortage of music, but I've been having fun. I kind of feel like I'm in like this game with
Yeah,
everyone, and we get to have fun together because it's like you'll get like nothing average, right? And then we'll, drop some club something, and then we're gonna talk about our lives again, which I really enjoy. So
yeah.
for you, like, what is your like creative process like? Like, what are your must-haves in the studio? How do you get inspired? Like, what's your creative process like?
Yeah, so to be honest, I think it always changes. Um, like I think like it like I guess with creative process it depends where you're at the time. I know like when I was doing this first album which I dropped, I must admit I was very specific in that if I was going to record it, I felt like I had to learn it off by heart, so like it would bring the best performance out of me. And I think like there was a Jay-Z interview I watched before where he said, if you repeat something 37 times, then you know it off by heart. So I found myself strictly being like repeating the same verse again and again 37 times to the point where I just knew it in my head like that, and it was just ingrained in me. But I don't think I'd necessarily repeat that same process. I think like at the same time I'm happy to do it off a piece of paper, or if the phone's more practical, write in the phone, do it off the phone. But another part of I think like the initial stage of the creative process is, I think, like everything which influences you in general, like whether it's like the films you watch, or or just things that are happening in your life and your circumstances. Sure. And I guess the beats or instrumentals can influence you. Other people's music can influence you and make you think about, okay, like your own rhyme schemes, like rhythm's really important, as well as lyrical content. Coming up with interesting rhythms too. But for me as well, I'm fortunate because like I've got like friends who are like really musical and who are producers as well. So it's kind of like, if I could potentially come up with something and I could run it past them, and because I trust their knowledge and their guidance, if they were to suggest to me, actually, it might be better, switching up the rhythm here, or they could make a suggestion, I could then sort of like tailor that into, I guess, the creation I'm coming up with. So I think like, I think just taking influences from everything and anything, help with the creative process. But yeah, no, that's a really good question though,
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And you know what? I love that you like go out of your way to like memorize your verses. So I used to like always try and do that. I would always try and memorize my verses because I thought I would get like a better performance out of myself in the studio. And now it's interesting that I feel like half the time I don't even know what I'm going to say. I like have a very like free, it's like the most structured yet not structured creative process ever.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, this made sense in my head, but I don't know how it's going to sound. So I feel like sometimes when I'm in the studio, like I'll be like writing, or then there's other things that I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I finish it and I'll like maybe just try and freestyle it a little bit. But then I always make the funny joke of like, so when I first started rhyming, I was like and there's still elements of that definitely. Like I always get like people make jokes about how I like fully pronounce words, which is kind of funny when you think about like the fact that it's like, hip hop and like rap, right? So like I would always have this thing where I would like, memorize it and like fully pronounce words. And then there was like one session that I did, and it completely changed my creative process because I didn't know what I was saying, so I didn't have time to memorize it. And it came out as like a slur, basically. And it was like, ugh. But it came out so dope. Like, it wasn't even like English. It was like slang mixed with like the word. But like, we ended up using that in the record and like looping it. And that day was like a game changer for me because I was like, wait a second, like, I didn't, prep for this, nothing. Like we're using a mistake as like a loop in the record. And, that was like, years ago now, but it's just like now I just feel like my creative process is so like, I always just tell people like, let's just get together, like bring the producer, like let's just vibe and see what we create. So I feel like that's how like it's interesting to see how like things come together. But I think that's dope how like you memorize your stuff. That's like true dedication. So
Yeah, I mean, for this first one I did, it was definitely like that. But I think now, like, I probably would be more inclined to the way you kind of said you approached it like that. I probably would more likely do something like that, but to be less harsh on myself. I think it's because, like, when it's the first time and you want it to be right because you don't know what the reaction's going to be. But I guess you you have that confidence that, okay, it seems to be liked, I think it allows you to kind of you know, have a bit more kind of, maybe not be as hard on yourself, you know. But
For
that's
sure.
interesting what you said. I like that what you said about the you know, how it came out, like a bit of you know, like you said, the way it came out and then it was looped, because, you know, sometimes it's just about, you know, the style it comes out as. Because I mean, I could think of like some like tracks I absolutely love, but I'll listen to, if I try to sort of like listen closely into what's being said, some of the time I can't even make out what maybe like an MC said. But if they
You
sort of
liked it.
wrote it in a dope way, it's kind of like that. You know, I really like the rhythm of it still, you know, so, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like it's something, like music is something that you feel. And I feel like, so, you know, I think now, I don't, just in my life and like creatively, I always say like you have to care enough in life to like have something to feel like it's worth fighting for and working for, but you have to not care enough to also not be overstressed about the outcome and what's next.
Yeah,
Because I feel like, you know, it's like if you find something in life, like, so I always say like music is like the thing that makes me like whole, right? And like everybody that I hang out with, all the amazing people that I have in my life, like my whole life has changed because of music. So for that, I'm always gonna be like, you know, I thank you, hip hop, right? And then it's like
definitely.
I base my life off of music, everything I do off of music. And then, you know, that also can come with a lot of pressure. But then the other key, and that goes back to the other thing I was saying, is like, then sometimes you have to learn to not care, where it's like, you know what? I don't really know what's next, but I just know that right now feels right. And like that
Yeah,
mentality is such a free spirit mentality that only like good things come from that. You know what I mean?
that's absolutely, you know. And I think yeah, I think uh well, you've hit a spot on there, really, you know. And I think again, it is, yeah, it's just such a great thing, I think, which like brings, you know, it like brings so many of us together. And I think it's just like just so amazing, you know. But yeah, I think it, like, yeah, I think you do kind, well, I mean, I probably feel like a bit more carefree, I think, like with the idea of anything I put out in the future, you know. I think, although I had a lot of fun with this first one I made, and really enjoyed the process, I think I'd probably, once I get into the I guess flow of things for the second time around, I think I'll have even more fun with it, because, you know, it will allow me to be possibly, you know, a bit more free with it, and, you know, a bit more, you know, just you know, maybe just kind of like step outside with the creativity in a direction I've not gone before, or something like that, you
I
know.
love
But
that.
yeah, that point.
Well, honestly, well, two things. One, I just talked to you for hours, so I'm gonna have to have you on here again. And the other thing is, I am going to be doing like this like fun like giveaway rap challenge with prizes and things like that. So I would love for you to hop in on that when I announce it. But for everybody on here, I need you before we go, because like I said, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even notice I went over on Rights Wednesdays, because you're literally the best. So,
Awesome.
and you know what? I'm gonna see you soon in the UK. I'm coming out there. I'm gonna be really outside. Once I made it to the UK, I'm gonna be outside.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, if you make it to the UK, like, we'll have you skateboarding and you can have us snowboarding, you know. And like, yeah,
Hey, yeah, I like
yeah,
that. Well, thank you so much for being on Rights Wednesdays. Before you go, I need you to give everybody your social media, let them know where they can find you, tell them again the album title so people can stream your music, give them all the information, please.
Yeah, definitely. So the best place to get me at is my Instagram, which is tscrewjm. So TS Crew stands for Trowbridge Skate Crew, which is just been my skate crew since I started skating in the year 2000, so a long time. So TS Crew JM, but my MC name is the Nicewun JM, which is spelled NICEWUN, and then JM for John Murphy. That's my initials. So yeah, if you look on whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, I'm under the Nicewun JM in most places. And yeah, the album is celebrating hip hop over here, released last year, and it's got some legends on that too. We've got a track produced by the Beat Miners, so DJ Evil D and Mr. Walt, legends from New York. Got Domingo, another legendary New York producer.
Yes.
Two legendary, a lot of New York guys here, but two legendary New York MCs. So we got Black Poet from Screwball, and we've got First and Hell the Third, and then we've got like a lot of my UK mates. So we've got Marvin the Duke, aka Afro Loon, who's producing the majority of tracks. We've got Mac Lloyd, MDV, DJ Mar London. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. But yeah, Obeya, who recorded it with me as well, and we've got Chemo who mastered it as well. But yeah, it's something I'm really proud of, and if you get a chance, check it out, and hope you'll dig it.
I love that. Well, you know what? You definitely are the nice one. Okay, the Nicewun JM. Thank you so much for hopping on here. Seriously, it was a pleasure. I could talk to you for hours. I'm definitely going to be checking out your music, and we'll stay in touch. I would love to have you on here again, and please, definitely, when we do that rap challenge, hop in on it, because I would love for you to be able to showcase your bars and lyricism. But thank you for being you and for loving this culture so much. This is literally what hip hop is about. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, and you know what, Miranda Writes, you're dope, keep being dope, keep killing it, and also thank you for giving, independent artists, whether it's, musicians, or I know you said there were people from other things who are going to get involved, just thank you for, giving them a cool platform. It's really dope what you're doing, so big up yourself,
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Stay nice there. Stay nice.
Yeah, for sure. And we out. Peace. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Amazing. All right, the Nicewun, JM, John. Come on. He was so amazing. I felt the energy through the screen. I mean, look, you guys, I even went over on my time for Rights Wednesdays. That's how you know, but that's what we do every Wednesday, baby. You know what it is. So if you or a friend wants to get on Rights Wednesdays, tell them that, listen, I have like the dopest new show that we do every Wednesdays with Miranda Writes, and the vibes are crazy, and she's showcasing artists, and we just have a conversation. Rights Wednesdays for artists by the artist. So thank you. Shout outs to the Nicewun, JM. Make sure you guys follow him on social media. Make sure you guys stream his project. Show him some love. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Rights Wednesdays. I love you guys. If you want to be a guest on the next one, we are taking guests for December. So just slide in my DM. Yes, I said that out loud. You can slide in my DM and let me know what day works for you, and we will get it in the calendar, and it's going to be lit. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to you guys for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with your girl, and I'll see you next week.